U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken urging China to use its position on the global stage to help facilitate peace, in particular the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East. The official emphasized that Moscow would struggle to continue its war against Kyiv without China's help.
I reiterated our serious concern about the PRC providing components that are powering Russia's brutal war of aggression against Ukraine. China is the top supplier of machine tools, microelectronics, nitrocellulose, which is critical to making munitions and rocket propellants, and other dual-use items that Moscow is using to ramp up its defense industrial base. A defense industrial base that is churning out rockets, drones, tanks, and other weapons that President Putin is using to invade a sovereign country, to demolish its power grid and other civilian infrastructure, to kill innocent children, women, and men. Russia would struggle to sustain its assault on Ukraine without China's support.
And earlier today, he held talks with the Chinese president. Xi Jinping hailed the positive progress made by the superpowers in terms of their relations. But he said a number of issues still remain and that both sides should seek common ground while reserving their differences instead of engaging in vicious competition.
中方乐见一个自信、开放、繁荣发展的美国，希望我们方面积极正面看待中国的发展。这个根本问题解决了，第一颗以后扣好了，中美关系才会真正稳下来、好起来，向前走。
And from CNA's Olivia Siong joins us live from Beijing. Olivia, you can hear there China's president laying out one of the fundamental issues which he says still needs to be resolved. Give us a sense of where the bilateral relationship currently stands following these talks.
Well, Wei Su, if we were to compare this trip to the last trip that Secretary Blinken made to China about a year ago, it would seem that there is improvement. That last trip more focused on restarting dialogue between the two countries following what seemed like a free fall in relations. This time, keywords being used by both sides are progress and stability. And we also learned that there was some tangible outcomes. Secretary Blinken saying that both sides will hold their first talks on artificial intelligence. They also talked more about boosting people-to-people ties, particularly in the educational sector. President Xi also striking a rather cordial tone, state media reporting that he said that China is willing to cooperate, but he also said that cooperation needs to be a two-way street. And when it comes to competition, he also said that this cannot be a zero-sum game. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi adding that if issues are not addressed, there is a risk of relations going back into this downward spiral again. Ironically, both sides there agreeing that there are issues that they still have to address. But if we look at how both sides are presenting this visit, it would seem that they are talking past each other on some very fundamental strategic issues, which doesn't seem to have moved the needle that much.
Also, Olivia, as you mentioned, talking past each other on these issues on which it is very difficult to make progress. Did we see any tangible progress on these issues?
Wei Su, there were a few issues that are plaguing the China-U.S. relationship. It's a growing list, and one of the things we've heard increasingly about are U.S. accusations about China's industrial overcapacity. This is something that Mr. Blinken said he raised again, saying that there was overcapacity in solar panels, electric vehicles, and batteries, saying that this would flood markets and put U.S. jobs at risk. And this is something he said the U.S. would not allow. But we saw the Chinese foreign minister hitting back at this, calling it a false narrative, also calling on the U.S. to lift sanctions on Chinese companies, or it called on the U.S. to stop adding tariffs on Chinese products as well. And when it came to Russia, we know that Mr. Blinken had come into this visit wanting to pressure China to stop supporting, it says, Russia's military industry. But this is something that China continues to deny, also saying that its economic relations with Russia are normal. Instead, in Chinese state media, what they are focusing on are China's concerns. What Foreign Minister Wang Yi reportedly warning Mr. Blinken about not crossing red lines when it came to China's national security and sovereignty. And this is with regard to the self-ruled island of Taiwan. It talked up how Mr. Blinken had committed that the U.S. would continue to follow the one China policy. Also, China saying that the Asia Pacific should not be a major battleground for major countries. And this, as we know, that China has been angered by the U.S. strengthening its alliances, including in areas like the South China Sea, which is disputed by China. Wei Su.
Thanks for that. Olivia Siong reporting live from Beijing.